Before we dive into today's episode, we want to make a quick but important disclosure. The information and advice shared in this podcast are intended to provide general knowledge and understanding about wellness and health-related subjects. They are not intended to replace professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or qualified health provider with any questions that you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new health regimen. Remember, your health is your responsibility, and it's always best to consult with a healthcare professional.
This isn't just another podcast, it's a deep dive into the world of beauty, wellness, and longevity. Now, we're here to discuss what beauty really means beyond just appearances. We'll also talk about wellness, the habits and practices that keep us healthy, full of energy. And we'll explore the topic of longevity, looking at the science and realities of living a long, fulfilling life. So sit back, relax, and join us as we go beyond the mirror.
Hello, and welcome back to Beyond the Mirror. This is Jennifer Warman-Bloss, and I am super excited for our guest today. She is my coworker and my friend, and just a wonderful person who just loves up the clients that come in here and the staff. And she's our little booby that we need. Her name is Debra Poger, and she is a laser technician extraordinaire. So she comes to us with significant experience. And today we're going to talk about radio frequency lasers, how they work, which ones are great, which ones are not so great, and how to get the best results, and how they essentially will improve you and in what ways. So let me welcome Debra.
Hi, Jen. Hi, peeps.
So welcome to Debra. I'm going to start by asking you about how you got into being a laser technician and what your experience is, how long you've been doing this.
I started in this industry in 2009 by accident. I had a business and it was starting to not be as lucrative as it once was, as happens sometimes. And because the computer came along. And so it was very difficult for me to offer pricing that competed with the computer. So long story short, my friend said, why don't you come work for me at my spa a couple days a week? And I started with a couple days a week because I had never been in the industry. And then I ended up managing. And then I ended up as a provider. I was in that spa for 7.5 years, and I never guessed that I would be as interested in aesthetics as I am. And now I'm really interested, which is why I'm still in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. And you continue to grow your skill and your talent and the type of things that you're able to do. And RF is a huge arena where there's so many lasers that are RF that people may or may not know, and they do wonderful things. And so maybe the first thing I should ask you is, can you kind of explain how RF works?
Yes. So radio frequency, I love radio frequency. I think it's one of the best. I think it's amazing. It's amazing. So what it is, depending on the machine you use, some are cumulative, some are one-time shots, some are 3-time shots, some are permanent. Radio frequency bulk heats your collagen and your elastin in your skin on several different levels, depending on which machine you're using and which setting you're on. Like I said, it bulk heats the collagen and the elastin. And it's a cumulative effect. Usually it takes a little while to see. Sometimes you can see it immediately. And it's a game changer because it can give you definition in your jawline. It can give you it lifts and tightens the skin. It's amazing. It can make you look like a different person in 6 weeks, literally like you had a light facelift. And most of the RF is comfortable. The RF devices that go deeper, we do have ways of numbing you so it's a little more comfortable, but none of them hurt. And people love them because a lot of people don't want plastic surgery.
Right.
So to come in and get something like a contour done that's, an hour and you're relaxed and you're on a nice cozy bed and you've got what feels like a hot rock massage heating you up and then lifting and tightening and firming your skin and then getting out of the chair and usually noticing the first or second time even
Right.
is a huge benefit.
Yeah, let's kind of head down the paths of different types of RF. Let's start out with, I think RF microneedling is very popular right now. And we have the Vivace RF here. Maybe you can talk about how that works. What is that service like? What does the client expect as they're going through that service? And then what kind of results do they have?
Okay, so that is one of my favorite machines. Everybody here will tell you that I am a big fan of Vivace. Number one, Vivace helps with fine lines and wrinkles. It helps with deep scarring. It helps with pore size reduction, usually sometimes 60 to 70% in one treatment. Firming, tightening. It lifts the upper brow. It's fabulous. And what it does is it hits on all the levels. Like it hits the epidermal level, it hits the derm level, and it hits the deep derm, which is almost the muscular level. Depending on the settings you have it on, there are so many settings. But Jennifer has a perfected setting that we just started using that has made it extra amazing. Everybody's different, and when they see it, I feel like everybody sees it at least by 5 weeks. Some people see it in 4 days. Some people see it in 2 weeks. Some people see it in 3 weeks.
Well, and I've noticed the way we're doing it now, it's kind of wild. Like you do see something in the beginning, then you see something in the time frame you're talking about, and then like the last time I did it, I also noticed like 3 months out.
Totally.
I had another boost and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yep.
This is amazing.
I believe it. It continues to work forever. Like not just when you're in the room, like Jen said, after you leave, up to 3 months, you can see it continue to work.
Right. And then it holds for a while.
Yes, a long time. Like I think that I've had people say 6 and 8 months. It is such a good thing to do for your skin because, like I said, as you all might or might not know, the best way to keep your skin from having issues is to consistently bulk, heat, or even fillers or any kind of peels, the VI peel, any of that stuff that gets under there and really touches the collagen and the elastin. That's what's going to keep your skin looking plump and fresh and preventing fine lines and wrinkles. It's like really one of the only things on the market that truly, I believe, truly works.
One of the controversial things that I see, I'm in a lot of aesthetics forums and stuff. There are a lot of people all of a sudden talking about RF killing fat in the face and making people look worse. And I just want to put out there that it's not impossible. However, it's all about settings, technique, equipment. All of that plays a huge part. So I want to just debunk the myth that all RF makes you break down collagen in your face. And, you can definitely speak to that.
I will be happy to. We have settings on the machines. I don't know if I have ever, without being on purposefully, making something really, you have to get to 42 degrees centigrade for that to even happen. And on our machines, we have settings. So on the Contora, I set it like at 39 is
for tightening.
For 39 degrees is where tightening starts. And anywhere from 39 to 42, you're in the tightening phase. Our Contour machine has a way to set the machine. There is also permanent fat reduction on that machine, which is anything over 42 degrees centigrade. So up to 42, you're fine. Our machine literally, it says it on the machine when you get to 40.5,
Well,
and it dings. It dings.
Well, it cuts it off too.
And it cuts it off if you go too hot. It won't go hotter than that. It just automatically cuts it off.
Right. And when you're there are reasons to do fat removal or reduction using RF, but we're not doing it when we're doing like a mid facelift. Like, why don't you explain times when you would want to use the higher temperatures to actually remove fat, and what areas you would be treating usually?
Okay. So I have clients that have this little pocket of fat right down here.
Under your chin.
Under your chin. I know some of you can't see me. So under your chin, where we all start to kind of get that as we get a little older, sometimes you get that little pocket. And I have several clients that I have used permanent fat reduction there. We have the pictures here. If anybody's interested in seeing them, we're happy to send them and show you of people that we've done, not people that were in the books, people that we've actually done.
Then also the body.
We do bra fat reduction, which totally works. I mean, it really works. Like, I can attest to this, that we have a new machine that's even more efficient for it. It's RF also, called the Agnes. But even before that, a long time ago, we had the Contoura for the permanent fat reduction, and we could also get bra fat. And anybody who's had any kind of surgery in their lower body, and they might have a little fold over on the edges of their tummy tuck that the doctor didn't get, we can get that. Little tiny areas are perfect for this.
Like a little pocket of fat on the inner thigh.
Yes.
You know, you might not get your whole thigh gap back, but you could actually improve what's going on there if you fight that little chunk in there that some people do. It's not surgery and it's not body reconstruction, but for those tiny pockets, it is a great tool to sculpt the body and the face using a very mild and non-scary technology.
And I actually, with people now even on their bodies, on their inner thighs and their outer thighs, their glutes.
Or the banana roll.
Yeah, where their banana roll is. I can lift that and help that to kind of lift up and go away a little bit. So this works. I have people that have literally followed me. I've been doing this mostly radio frequency. It's a lot of what I do. And I've been doing it since 2009. And I have people still that I did in 2009 that still come back that don't want surgery. It is cumulative. If you do a series on the Contoura, different for the Vivace, that's a one-time shot or a two-time shot a year, or a three-time shot if you've got excessive acne scars and things that we really want to work on. Live acne, it really helps with that. RF is just wonderful. It does so many things.
Yeah, and it's pretty mild. It's pretty comfortable. There's little to no downtime with most RF services. And it just keeps improving by the day. I mean, you just hit on Agnes, which is sort of the newest, latest RF machine, which we do have here. It's a great device. It's very area specific. So it isn't like you're going to do your whole face with Agnes. But if you do have that under chin fat or the bra fat or the little pockets of fat, it works amazing on that. It also tightens the skin simultaneously. We are also able to use it for a neck lift or a mid-face lift or a brow lift or, under eye tightening. It's crazy, but you wouldn't just sit and do the whole face because it is artistry where you're lifting and raising, or you're, like some people have that little fat right next to your nose. We can take that out and that immediately lightens the weight of your face and lifts, right around your mouth. Like, it's so simple and little, and it can make such a dramatic difference. And where we're doing those fat removal, both with Contoura or Agnes, it's for good. It's not coming back, which is amazing. So you're just not you don't come 20 times to do that. It's something you do according to the way the device works. Like Agnes is usually once, Contoura is usually a few times to get your final result that you're wanting to get to. But it's all RF.
Yep. And there's only, for Contoura, there's only one maintenance every 3 months or 4 months, depending on the area. And like I said, it feels like a hot rock massage. So people that come in, they look forward to their appointments because it's relaxing. It does not hurt.
It was funny because I was going to bring up, you told me a story earlier. You reminded me of when we first got the Contura, how you reacted.
So when I first started working for Jen about 8 years ago, I came from another place, and I did other lasers, but I did primarily a laser called the Venus, which was the first RF.
We had that here also.
Yeah, we do. We still have that here. So it was the first machine that was brought out, and I think we were one of the first people to get trained in the industry. Anyway, I had all this training on it and many special trainings with the reps. And I loved that machine. And even when I came to Jennifer, I'm like, I'm a laser tech. I'm a laser tech. That's what I do. She said, okay, so let's give it a try. And she comes to me, was it a year in?
Yeah, a little over, I think, maybe 18 months in.
Yeah, about a year, almost 2 years in, and says, we're getting a new RF machine. I'm really excited about it. And the Venus is going to take a back seat. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't really know what to say because you don't want to upset anybody, but I started like really getting nervous. So they come in and the lady is, the rep is talking about it. They're showing us the machine and I am in tears. I leave the training and run down the steps and Jen is after me. I'm like, that machine is so expensive and nobody's going to pay that kind of money. It wasn't expensive. It was expensive to be compared to what I used to charge with the other one, but it's not expensive. So I said, nothing's going to work like that. I'm afraid I'm going to have to go back to find another job. Anyway, long story short, the first time we had an open house and we did people with it, the people that we did, we saw it immediately and they saw it immediately. And I was hooked. Mm-hmm. That was it. And then I started playing with it, trying to lift high knees and tightening arms and mixing it up on the stomach. And I love that machine.
No, it's absolutely great. It took us actually a year of looking at different machines to finally land on that one, even because again, and we had mentioned there's a ton of RF devices out there. And we're going to talk about some of that too. But when we landed on the Contura, it was just a very unique device. It was very effective. It was instant gratification oriented. It was comfortable. It had, the ability to do face, body, and all of those things. And, honestly, Deb is the queen of the Contura.
I love that machine.
And she's really good at it. And all these years that we've spent working on it, and she's continuously improving it and finding new ways to do it. And that's kind of how we do things here anyways.
Oh, totally. And you also, by the way, always find the best machines. There've been other machines here. I'm like, okay, tell me. And she gets it here and I can't believe it. I can't believe what some of these machines do here, honestly.
Yeah.
This is a really fun business to be in. Not just because we get to do fun things ourselves, but the learning and all the new things that come in the door and learning how to take care of your skin and do things preventatively so that you don't have to get surgery down the line if you don't want it. And you don't have to buy a whole bunch of makeup. You can look more natural. I mean, there are so many things that we can do.
Yeah. On that topic, when I bought the Vivace, we looked at a whole bunch of devices, and probably one of the most popular is the Morpheus 8. So a couple secrets about the Morpheus 8. The Morpheus 8 is a wand that they frequently throw in when they sell other devices from the company that makes Morpheus 8. Or it's like a $35,000, which might sound like a lot to you guys, but in laser terms, that's nothing. Add-on to an existing machine, and there's training and all the things. The problem that I had with Morpheus, and we could have gotten it free, and instead we actually paid for the Vivace, which sounds absurd, but what happened was I did a virtual demonstration on Morpheus 8. It was during kind of the height of COVID. And so nobody was doing in-person things, but I participated over video, and they were showing me the demonstration of them doing this device. And the clients were bloody faced, in pain. A lot of times they had a hard time getting through even one pass, let alone two. And as I looked at the technique of the Morpheus, it just goes, they encourage to go very deep, which I think is the problem. Like, what we found when we first brought the Vivace in, we actually did deeper than we do now. And it wasn't as effective. Like, our results were good in the beginning. And then Vivace came out with a new set of instructions. And so we tried it that way. And then it was better.
Yeah, it was good that way.
It was good. Mm-hmm. And then Melissa and I went to a training on another whole device where they did an RF that we don't have, but they had different techniques and settings that I carried back and was like, oh, we can do this. We can do the same thing with the Vivace. So we took that advanced training and tweaked it one more time. And now it rocks.
And it's quicker. Like you can get it done more quickly, and the people aren't even on the table as long.
Right. But compared to Morpheus 8, it's far less painful. It's far less bloody. There's less downtime. And honestly, the results are better. And so I'm not here to bash Morpheus 8. That's not my goal. But what I do want to say is it's taught differently. And that makes a huge difference when you're getting a laser. And it's like one thing you guys are going to hear me say over and over again in here. Like, we have great machines. Other people have really good machines. For example, I actually think the Scarlett RF is a great machine. It's a fantastic machine. And they do good education with it, which is awesome. However, if your technician and your spa is not pushing the envelope, testing things, trying things like Deb does with Contura and like we've done with Vivace, then they might not be expanding and increasing the result that you're going to get. And so those devices aren't bad. Like Morpheus 8 isn't bad. I do think they're probably trained in a way that makes it not as effective for the client. We can do far more. We can do up to 6 passes with Vivace.
I do extra.
Yeah.
I do extra. I take Jen's passes, and then if they're okay and they're comfortable, I continue. I will. Yeah, I'm a little aggressive, but we like to get the results here. So,
but they're comfortable enough for you to be able to do
Yes,
Which with Morpheus and the way that they do it, there's just no way you could do 4 or 5 passes. They would leave a mess. They would be in terrible pain. Like it just wouldn't be a good experience. And again, at the end of the day, so I think I started saying when we first started doing it, we did it deeper. And then when Vivace came back and said, let's try it a little shallower, we did. And that was the first round of improvement. So when I look at Morpheus 8 continuing to do a deep setting, then I'm like, okay, that's not as beneficial. Sometimes deeper is actually not better. And most people don't know that. And most people don't understand that. But when you're puncturing at 3.5 millimeters, which they are, and then it's shooting energy from the tip, which goes down to 4.5 millimeters, it's too deep. On a face, it's especially too deep. And I do think doing it that way could kill some fat in the face and could change the face in maybe a less than positive way. So it's fun talking with Deb, though, because she can also do those kinds of things with Contura. Why don't you talk about how Contura works on the lower face?
Okay, so we all as we get older, unfortunately, start getting this little jolly stuff done here. We get our faces may not be as defined.
Well, like all of our fat pads drop and diminish.
And we have pictures of that here. You would not believe what happens. Like after 28, you lose a teaspoon of collagen in your face a year. Right there, a teaspoon doesn't sound like a lot, but every year after 28, it's a lot. And where we get the hollows in our face is where the fat pads, that is such a good point. like always with you. The fat pads, when they drop, that's how we get the hollows here. And some people will get filler and they'll go, well, they still have a break right here. Well, that is where the fat pads have dropped. And the fat pads here, right here on me, I can't see in a mirror, but
so down in the lower face.
Right, lower face has dropped from being up here. It is time for me to do some contour on myself. I will not lie. I am overdue. So, but it really does lift you. And it is, I have people call in here, the front desk can attest to this. And they go, is Debbie there? I need my face ironed. And they call it ironing because it takes out all the fine lines and wrinkles, and it lifts and tightens your face, and it defines your jawline.
And it's and in different than a lot of other ways we can do that. It's more comfortable. It's more relaxing. It's actually a little less expensive per treatment. I mean, the initial outlay is a little more than some services. However, in the long run, the maintenance is very inexpensive. So,
and people love it. I mean, everybody is, usually when you get in a chair for the first time, you don't know what to expect. They're like, their eyes are really big and they're nervous. And I don't even tell them when I'm starting the machine. I just start. I go, okay, how's it feel? They're like, is that it? That's it.
Yeah, when you say laser, it scares people.
Yeah, I know everything about it. And they're always worried. So the other thing here about our spa, which I'm going to interject, I don't know, is the consistent training. Jen consistently teaches us new things. She will do master classes and come back to us with the stuff. So it helps us to also become better laser techs, because we learn all these things that we wouldn't have the opportunity to learn. You learn, we have certain people that come a couple times a year or once every couple years to retrain and give us the updates. But Jen has been teaching us, going to master classes and learning new things and bringing back new information to us that we wouldn't have otherwise. I don't know. I'd like to think that all other spas do that. I think that we're very lucky to have that aspect of training here. I feel very confident with what I do here because of what she has taught me and the training she's given us. So nobody here is thrown in. Everybody's trained. And
yeah, there's a lot of experience. There's crazy.
Everybody here has, there's a lot of experience here.
It's so very cool. And we all kind of have what's also cool is we all kind of have our passions, right? So, Deb is a laser tech, but she's an RF expert, for example. So it's great to have someone that's like, this is what I do. I spend 75% of my time doing this. I know this inside out and upside down, and I am the master of this. And with as much time as she's been working, like 15 years is a lot of time cultivating that experience and like learning how to get the optimal result on people. And so that's huge. And then like Katie, for example, is a killer IPL girl. So like we all kind of have our mastery, our love, our passion, and we have all the tools to be able to each shine with those different entities, which is fantastic. But what we're also trying to do now with podcasting is just teach you guys, because some of you aren't here. Some of you can't just roll on into St. Louis and come get a Vivace, although we'd love to have you.
Yes, we would.
But now you'll have some education to know the questions to ask of your technician in your area and the machines that are available to you. So we're just now trying to parlay that to the world so that we can have a smarter consumer, which is going to help. Well, it'll help places like us. It may not help everybody.
Well, and don't ever be afraid to ask to see photos. We do a lot of photos here. If somebody doesn't take your photo before a big service, then they're doing you an injustice, because when we look in the mirror every day, you sometimes won't be able to see the little changes, which is why we do before pictures and after pictures. If you put them side by side and then people go, wow, because they can't see it on themselves. They see themselves every day. It's kind of like when you lose a few pounds and you don't notice it on yourself, and people come up and go, you've really lost a lot of weight. And you're like, oh, thank you. Like you feel like you've lost a little, but you've lost a good number, but you don't see it on yourself.
It's like a slow creep, I always say.
That's a perfect way to say it.
You're like, oh, it's just slowly creeping in, especially when you're doing like Contura, which is like a 6 treatment series and then continues to increase after. You're working on it every week. So you're building every week, you're improving every week, and it's sneaking in. And you'll see, it's not that people don't see it. They don't see the full dramatic effect sometimes without a picture.
Yeah, a lot of people, about 85, I say probably 85% of the Contour people really do see it the first time. The thing is, it lasts about, when I say cumulative, I mean, like the first time you do it, you might see it for 4 days. The second time you might see it for 8. Then the third week it's 16. Then you go to 32. And when FDA tests these things and they give us the FDA stamp of approval, they're testing for you, for the clients. They're not testing for us. They're not testing for the people that create the machine. They're testing for you because they want you to be confident when you go in that you know that this has been looked at. They have proven the facts, and they want you to know the time frame of when things are going to happen and what the maintenance time is between. These machines, most of them are I think everything here is FDA approved that we have, isn't it?
I actually don't know.
Oh my God. Well, I know for a fact because I did research too. Almost I think everything that we have here is FDA approved. The little stuff that we just started getting that were the new stuff.
I think actually Plasma Pen has never gotten through FDA clearance, but it is like Plasma Pen is such a unique service. You know what? It makes me think of one thing that is so important in my mind. If you're going to a laser technician, or like if you're getting fibroblast or Plasma Pen or something, that all is so technique of your technician. So I had a client come in for a consultation recently, and when I'm talking to her, I'm like, okay, you need to see Deb for Vivace, and you need to see Melissa for this Plasma Pen under your eyes. She is a killer Plasma Pen under eye person. Like, that's a skill for her. And so that ability to have a great technician that's really expert in whatever it is that you're having done makes a huge difference in your result. And out there in the world, if you're seeing a place with one esthetician and one nurse, well, are they really the best at everything? Like, I know with confidence, if I send someone to Deb for Vivace Contura, they're going to get a great result. They're going to be happy. They're going to come out of the room chatting and glowing and happy. So, but if they came to see me for Contour, it's not going to be as
just
good.
Like me. I send my IPL people to you, Katie. Like I can do a little IPL, the little spot treatments. I can do it. It's not my forte.
Yeah.
And my specialty is RF microneedling. That is my specialty. That's what I've grown, and I love to do. I love the treatment. I love it. Anybody who knows me, you probably can tell with the passion I'm speaking of right now, that is my thing.
Well, and you're an artist at it. So that's kind of my point. Like, Plasma Pen's a perfect example. That is only going to be as good as your technician has the artistry to do it, right? And so that's what you guys should be looking for when you're out there looking at RF devices, your technician, the spa that you're visiting, be it here or elsewhere. Like, those are the questions that you should be asking. And so we're glad to get that information out. So is there anything else that you specifically want to hit on in regards to RF or radio frequency?
For those of you that are gun shy of surgery, there is nothing that can touch it. People always say, well, is it permanent? Like we talked about, some of it can be permanent. When we do chins under here, it's permanent. I haven't had anybody get it back. So there are little pieces that are permanent, but only as permanent as surgery. Surgery, the next day after surgery, you're going to start dropping again, because that's what happens when we age. And don't we all wish we could be Benjamin Buttons?
But, I definitely say nothing is truly permanent.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the fat removal we do has permanence, but your skin's still going to sag over time. Like,
the next day it starts again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gravity. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And even after surgeries.
Yeah. You'd have to live on the moon to not have that happen.
Right. Exactly.
So anyways, it's been great hanging out with Debra Poger, one of my faves, my people, and having her on to expel her expertise and make you guys wiser and let you understand radio frequency. I do hope that you will review us and share us and follow us. We are super new at this. We need your support and love. And then let us know topics of interest for you so we can make sure to focus on the things that you guys really care about. And we're glad to have you on and glad to have our guests listening. And we hope you come join us for the next episode of Beyond the Mirror.